Yesterday, we had our discussion, our continuation with the phenol derivatives na mga anti-infectives. And then we also discussed the oxidizing agents. So these are the substances that are dependent on the release of oxygen para maging anti-infective siya. So do not forget that these substances are used for our anaerobes, those bacteria that will not survive if there is a presence of oxygen. And then we had also discussed halogen-containing compounds, those compounds that contain iodine and then chlorine also that we use to disinfect or pwede din silang antiseptic. And then the cationic surfactants, these are substances that can lower the surface tension, and at the same time, we can use them as antiseptic and disinfectants also. However, the disadvantage is they will be, their effectiveness will be reduced if merong interaction with body fluids. And since they are positively charged, they will be inactivated if meron ding interaction with negatively charged detergents or sabon. So we will now continue with our discussion. So dyes na ta. So pag sinabing dyes, these are our coloring substances. However, aside from being a coloring agent, they can also be used as either antiseptic or disinfectant. So these dyes can be cationic dyes, meaning they are positively charged, and these are active against gram-positive bacteria and many fungi. Okay? Basta cationic dyes, they are for gram-positive bacteria and mga fungi. So let us review first ano si difference class ni gram-positive ug ni gram-negative bacteria. Sige daw. Ano wag ta or kamo na mag-volunteer sa inyong self. Let us have our review sa inyong microbio. You just had your microbio last semester. So, say kalahian ni gram-positive ug ni gram-negative.
Sa ilahang ma'am, peptidoglycan.
Ayun, ma'am.
On, kung walay mo tubag.
Ma'am, ako, ma'am.
Ano?
Wait lang ha, let me...
Ayan dyan, meron naman pala, ma'am.
Yes? Ano to?
Ma'am, kanina pa kami nagasalita.
Hinay, manggod. Ako ang namag ko sa school. Sige. Sorry.
Parang si Jay yata yung nagasalita kanina, ma'am.
Jai.
Si Jay. Jay ba yun?
Saan na? Wala na? Or
Ay, ako, ma'am.
Ay, yes. Oh, Jai.
Ano, ma'am, pag gram-positive bacteria, mas baga iyahang peptidoglycan kaysa sa gram-negative bacteria.
Okay, sige. That is correct. If gram-positive bacteria, greater ang iyahang peptidoglycan kesa sa gram-negative. So, how do we do gram staining? So, paano mag-gram staining? Siyempre, wala mo nakatry. Okay, online lang man ta. Pero, I hope you know the procedure. Saan to? Ang gram staining. Asa akong pen? Okay. Hindi, dyan ako audio. Wala lang dyan nag-istorya. Ano man eh? Wala nag-istorya.
Audible man ka, ma'am.
Ay,
Ma'am, ano question?
how are we going to do the gram staining? Paano? Paano gina-conduct ang gram staining?
Stain, di ba muna, ma'am? And then, i-heat fix mo siya. And then, lagyan mo ng, ano yun? Sunod nun?
Ng ano?
More than.
Oo, yun, more than. Then, lagyan ng decolorization something.
Tapos
Counter stain.
counter stain. So what are those stains and what are those substances na mga mordant o mga decolorizing agent? Isa to sila.
Crystal violet yung stain, ma'am. Crystal
Dyes.
violet.
Okay, we have actually the mnemonics. This one. The VIAS. This is the mnemonics I used to easily remember the gram staining. So we have the primary stain, the crystal violet. This is our primary stain. And then after that, we add the iodine. The iodine will be your mordant or your fixing agent para yung color class ma-absorb ng cell. And then after that, we will be applying alcohol. So this will be the decolorizing agent. If gram-positive ang bacteria, crystal violet will remain. It will be fixated sa bacteria. Therefore, you can see violet color sa gram-positive na bacteria. But if it's a gram-negative, the crystal violet will be washed out by the alcohol. And thus, when you view a gram-negative bacteria under a microscope, you can see what color? It's the color of
Safranin.
the safranin. So what's the color of safranin?
Pink.
Yeah, it's red or pink. Okay? So do not forget that this is how we do the gram staining, and the best way to differentiate gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria is ang ilahang peptidoglycan. So mo na siya na ma-fix jud si crystal violet sa gram-positive na bacteria kay matrap na siya dito sa baga niya na peptidoglycan. So what are the gram-positive bacteria class? Are you familiar with the gram-positive bacteria? Kasi ang mga dyes na to are only effective for gram-positive bacteria. They are not effective sa gram-negative bacteria because of the presence of little na peptidoglycan. So, unsa atong mga gram-positive? Are you familiar?
Yung mga stuff ba yan, ma'am?
Okay, very good. The first one, we have the Staphylococcus species. And then, aside from the staph, positive results sa gram stain. Pag gram positive, it's violet. Most likely it's blue. Depende sa kita nimo sa microscope. But if it's gram negative, it's pink or red. Okay, tama na siya, Tin. It's the Streptococcus species. What else? Duha lang, staph, strep, ano pa? Wala na. Bacillus also, all the Bacillus species. Tanan na Bacillus. And then we also have Clostridium. So tanan pod na Clostridium. Clostridium tetani, Clostridium difficile, Clostridium botulinum. They are all gram-positive. Okay? And then what else? I forgot. What's the other one? Ako na mga coccus na to.
Enterococcus, ma'am.
Mga enterococcus na to, that's included. Though the Mycobacterium species are more of a acid-fast na mga bacteria. Okay. The Propionibacterium, the one that causes acne. The one that causes diphtheria, what is that again? I forgot the name.
Clostridium.
Diphtheria. I forgot the name of the diphtheria. Wait,
Corynebacterium.
yeah, thank you. That's what I'm looking for. The Corynebacterium diphtheria. Okay, and we have the Listeria. Okay, listeria na mga species, they are all gram positive. Now, those that were not mentioned are gram negative, ha? Kasi mas daghan na itong mga gram negative din. So, kanina lang inyong tandaan, gram positive, ay mas dali sila tandaan. Okay, the rest ha, nawala dire, gram negative class. So, let's talk about the gentian violet. This is our primary stain for gram staining, the primary dye. Other name for crystal violet is gentian violet. Now, it can also be called hexamethyl P, rosanilin chloride, or methyl violet, or methyl rosanilin chloride. Now, we have pessaries for this. But when you say pessaries, it's vaginal suppository. Ginagamit natin si crystal violet as treatment of yeast infection. So for example, the patient has Candida albicans infection, that's a yeast. Pwede na to butangan of vaginal suppository with the crystal violet. Pwede siya for that infection. Aside from the vaginal suppository, it can also be a topical solution. It's the same thing used for yeast infection like Candida albicans. So this fungus is normally found in the vagina. It's normal sa babae na merong ganito. However, Candida is considered an opportunistic pathogen. So pag sinabing opportunistic, if you have like low immune system or like all other microorganisms die sa imuhang vagina ha, but it's not limited to vagina only. It can also be found sa atong mouth o sa other parts sa atong body. It's just that it's common to female sa atong vagina, mag-cause siya og yeast infection, especially class pag ang babae like nasubraan ta og inom og antibiotic, mga antibacterial, and then since antibacterial agents are not effective for Candida albicans, then those bacteria na present sa atoang genitals will die, leaving Candida alone. So pag siya na lang isa, pwede siya mag-cause og infection. So mo na siyang isa sa harm kapag ka masubraan ta og inom og antibacterial agent. And then aside from that, we have also oral preparation of crystal or gentian violet na ginagamit natin as anthelmintic for worms like Strongyloides and the oxyureasis. So we will have our review about the anthelmintic or itong mga helminths when we discuss the anthelmintic agents. And then we have the basic fuchsin, or this is the ingredient of our carbofuscin solution or Castellani's paint na ginagamit din natin for fungal infections like mga ringworms or mga Tinea infection. Okay? This is also a dye. Actually, this is our carbofuscin is the primary stain for our acid fast. So, ang acid fast staining class is used to determine or to identify between acid-fast and non-acid fast bacteria. Example ng mga acid-fast bacteria na to, itong mga Mycobacterium, like Mycobacterium tuberculosis, the one that causes pulmonary TB. Okay, and then we have the methylene blue, another dye which is actually used as a stain siya, sa simple staining lang po sa like we want to observe the bacterial cell under a microscope, we use the methylene blue. However, we have encountered methylene blue sa iyahang use as an antidote for cyanide poisoning. Kasi when you administer methylene blue at high concentration, it will promote the conversion of the hemoglobin to methemoglobin. And when it becomes methemoglobin, magkaroon siya ng high affinity to cyanide, and then ma-inactivate na ang cytochrome C oxidase na enzyme. However, in low concentration, ginagamit naman siya to treat drug-induced methemoglobinemia. Diba, hemoglobin. Pag nagkaroon ng interaction with methylene blue, it will become methemoglobin. Pero dose-dependent ang iyahang action. At low concentration, treatment siya sa methemoglobinemia. Pero at high concentration, siya mismo ang mag-induce og methemoglobinemia. So si hemoglobin naging methemoglobinemia, methemoglobin class, ang condition ng methemoglobinemia ha. Lesser ang iyahang affinity to oxygen. Yan na. So aside from that, as anti-infective, methylene blue is used for the treatment of cystitis and urethritis. Unsa man na silang duha? What do you mean by cystitis? If a word ends with itis, it refers to inflammation. Pero pag maingon kag cystitis, what part of your body has inflammation?
Bladder.
Yeah, it's the urinary bladder. And syempre for urethritis, that is actually, kanang automatic na dayon, urethra. Okay. But do not forget the cystitis, ha? Yun siya inflammation sa cyst. Pero may kung makabati sa estudyante, yun sa cystitis plus inflammation sa cyst. Kung cyst is an inflammation itself. Pero pag may cystitis, it refers to the inflammation of the bladder. So this is only a bacteriostatic, okay, inflammation of the bladder. It's just a bacteriostatic. So when you say bacteriostatic class, this is a substance that is used to prevent the growth of the bacteria. So hindi siya automatically magpatay ng bacteria. Instead, it will just prevent the growth of the bacteria. So these are the examples of the dyes that we use as anti-infectives. Questions? Wala. So let's have the mercury compounds or mga mercurials. So this one is a heavy metal. However, the use of mercury as an anti-infective is now limited and hapit na siya mahimong obsolete. Because remember that mercury is a toxic one. It's a cumulative poison. So it will be accumulated in our body until it reaches its toxic level. And by that time, it will cause the toxicity. So what is the mechanism of action of the mercury as anti-infective? So just like other na mga anti-infectives nato, mercury targets the proteins of the bacteria, the proteins and other enzyme. So most especially the part of the enzyme or the protein which contains the sulfhydryl group, diba? SH group. So mo na siya ang target ni mercury. So once na nagkaroon siya ng interaction with the sulfhydryl group of the enzymes and the proteins, it will be inactivated, leading to the prevention of the growth of the bacteria and some cases until mamatay siya kasi hindi na siya naka-grow. So this is reversible once mercury reacts with sulfhydryl. This is reversible. Therefore, we have antidotes like thiol-containing compounds such as cysteine and dimercaprol. So take note that if we want to reverse the effect of mercury, we will be using either the cysteine or the dimercaprol. So thiol is still SH, ha? It's sulfhydryl. So what are the uses of our mercurials? Pwede silang antiseptic, pwede ding disinfectant, and preservatives. So we have mercury compounds such as mercury chloride. We had encountered this in your pharmaceutical inorganic chemistry. We also call this the corrosive sublimate. And then we have the mercurous chloride. So take note of the difference. Mercurous chloride, this has a lower charge. So mo na siya nga Hg2Cl2. This is otherwise known as the calomel. But these two will most likely be discussed sa PharmChem 1 kaysa sa PharmChem 2. And then we have ammoniated mercury, otherwise known as white precipitate, na ginagamit natin for some skin infections. However, again, the use is limited because of the presence of mercury. Question class, unsa gani ang disease na ginakos ni mercury? Say tawag. Say tawag sa ginakos ni mercury. Kalimut na.
Minamata.
Okay, very good. It's Minamata disease. Again, it's Minamata disease. Pwede po siya Mad Hatter's disease. So do not forget those two. Una siya ang mga ginakos ni mercury pag maabot na ang maabot na ang toxic level sa body. Okay? Again, Minamata disease or Mad Hatter's disease. And then we have another mercurial compound. We have that nitromersol. Just like our ammoniated mercury, we use it for skin infections and pwede po siya sa mata, ocular infections. And then yesterday, I have mentioned this, the thimerosal. This is our old merthiolate. Kasi atong new merthiolate karon is called benzalkonium chloride. Ilisan yun na siya class, reformulate yun na siya because of, again, the presence of mercury in thimerosal na once na i-apply sa skin, pwede ma-absorb sa body, causing toxicity. Wait lang. Let me remove the charger. Okay, so those are our mercurials. Questions about our mercurials? Wala, natug naman tingali mo diha. Mata pa?
Alive pa.
Alive pa, sige.
Alive, alive, alive.
Okay, sige kay mag-discuss ta og preservatives. This is very important sa pharmacy, especially that we are making a lot of products that require preservation. Ano sabi niya akong mouse? Wait lang ha. Nabalihok akong mouse. Okay. Okay. So, ang gamit ni preservative class. Si preservative, ginagamit jud siya to prevent. Take note of the word prevent microbial contamination. So if we add this to our product, it will increase the shelf life of our product para dili dayon siya madaot. So butangan nato siya og preservative. However, the agent that will be considered a preservative should have the following characteristics. So syempre first we have it should be effective at low concentration. Sa pharmacy dili pwede class na taas ang concentration ha. Mao po na siya ang sa kanang ilahang himuon sa ilahang animal testing, the approximate effective concentration or the approximate effective dose, the AED. Actually, we are looking there for the smallest possible concentration or dose that is already effective. Kasi our principle sa pharmacy, the higher the dose, the more toxic it gets. So, sa preservatives po, ingana, dapat effective na siya at low concentration. And then, syempre, it should be non-toxic. And at the same time, since you mix this with other substances, dapat compatible siya. Dili siya magkaroon og reaction. At the same time, stable siya for the rest of the shelf life of the preparation. If the expiration date of our product is 2 years after the manufacturing date, the preservative should also be stable at that time. Okay, at that period of time. So what are the most common preservatives we use sa atuang mga products? We have our parabens. So IUPAC name, we have para-hydroxybenzoic acid na very common preservative na ginagamit for our liquid dosage forms. Kapag like syrup, ato ang mga solutions and suspensions, since they are liquid, most of the time we use the parabens. But, unsa jud ang gamit parabens? The parabens class is actually an antifungal. Para ang atong mga preparations will dili na siya matubuan og either the yeast or the molds. Now, our rule for the use of parabens is as we increase the molecular weight of the parabens, like dugangan nato siya mga substituents niya. Remember the substituents in your organic chemistry? Naga-increase pud ang iyahang efficacy as preservative. So, let me give you an example of a paraben. We have the methyl paraben. Ang inyong tandaan ani, M-methyl for molds. Kasi methyl paraben is specific for molds. Remember our fungi, atong fungi, it can be divided into two. We have the molds and the yeast. So si methyl paraben ang atuang preservative if dili ta gusto mag-molds atuang preparation. And then we have our propyl paraben. This one naman is for the yeast. So again M for molds. Propyl paraben now is for the yeast. And we use propyl paraben if our preparation is lipophilic, meaning merong oils and fats. Kasi propyl paraben is oil soluble. So again kapag ka mag-formulate mo pohon og sarili ninyo nga drug, if you want to use a preservative, then you can use these two. Methyl paraben for molds and propyl paraben for yeast. But the propyl paraben is more soluble to oil. So, gamito nato siya for our lipophilic na mga substances.
Ma'am?
Yes, Isabel.
Na ako'y question about sa parabens, ma'am. Kay, pag palikod ka sa cosmetics o parabens, good ma'am. Para ginamarket siya as ka ng bad. Nga, naayo ba nga cosmetics or kanang mga beauty products, good ma'am, na mag-market sila na nakabutang sa ilang packaging kay no paraben?
Okay. Ano kasi na siya na effects paraben na really good for the skin. So you can see many cosmetics advertising that their products do not contain paraben. Okay?
Unsa di iyang effect sa skin ana, ma'am?
Actually, I'm not that familiar if unsa ka. Ang akong nabalaan jud is it's a myth. Like myth, MYTH na naa siya bad effects sa skin, pero I'm not that familiar kung unsa jud ang iyahang effect. O na nga many companies are advertising na wala sila paraben sa ilahang product as preservative. Let me see kung unsa jud ang iyang effect sa skin. These are actually studies na I'm not familiar kasi ginagamit mo gihapon ang paraben. I think
Always
allergy. Yeah, allergies.
Mostly allergic ang
Yeah, allergies, and it can...
allergic ang ibang tao.
Yeah, it's allergies. So, una siya ang inahang claim. So, siguro na ay mga people na once they use cosmetics, nagka-develop sila ng allergic reactions and then they attribute it to the paraben na content sa cosmetics. So that is why daghan og mga cosmetics karon na when you look at their labels, gina-advertise jud nila na this product does not contain parabens. Kana. Pero ano class sa pharmacy so far, this way I'm not very familiar with the bad effect of parabens. Sa pharmacy so far, actually, wala pa man, dili man siya considered as toxic si paraben. It is still considered safe nowadays kay ginagamit maghihapon siya as preservative even in oral preparations. Sa cosmetics lang daghan o kanang advertisement na walay ing ana nga content ilahang product. Okay? And any other concerns? Wala na? Kaya lang may mga studies ni si paraben do wala pa manggod nila I mean naay mga studies na it can cause cancer, it's carcinogenic, but I think it requires further studies because kung human na gyud na nga studies nga maka-cause na sila cancer, dapat giban na siya. Pero kay wala pa man siya giban, kana so far, it's still considered safe. Mga substance, mga cosmetics na ginabutangan nila, paraben-free. So other preservatives, okay Natala, are we going to move on with the other na mga preservatives?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. So let's have the chlorobutanol. This is another preservative that we use in many pharmaceutical preparations, especially those that are being injected. Pwede po siya component of our ophthalmic preparations and intranasal na mga preparations. Pero take note that chlorobutanol is only bacteriostatic. It will just prevent the growth of bacteria. So, ilaha jud na siya dapat i-declare sa label kung unsa nga preservative ang gigamit. Once you become pharmacist class and then you will apply for product registration, the FDA is actually very strict when it comes to the use of preservatives. That is why iyon ko kagain na nga since wala pa man na-ban si paraben, then it is still considered safe. So, kung nigamit sad og alcohol, since chlorobutanol is an alcohol, the same thing with the benzyl alcohol, gina-declare po na siya sa label and kung pila ka percent. Okay? Kaya pag nasobrahan, dili na po siya good for the body. So just like benzyl alcohol, this is a board exam question, na as a preservative in our injectables, we only use 1 to 4% na concentration of the benzyl alcohol. Okay? And then, aside from that, benzyl alcohol has also local anesthetic action. Pwede po siya gamiton for that use as an anesthetic. And then we have the phenylethyl alcohol, which is a natural na product from plants like rose oil and pine needle oil. But take note that in perfumery, when we want to make our own perfume and then we want to preserve it so that it will have a longer shelf life, most of the time, ang sa perfumery, we use the phenylethyl alcohol. Okay? And then, benzoic acid is a preservative used for antiseptic or preservative used for lotions, ointments, and mouthwashes. And aside from that, take note na pwede, mauni siya itong ginagamit kapag ka-acidic ang food nga gusto nato i-preserve. Okay, kasi since benzoic acid is acidic, so most likely It will be compatible also to pharmaceuticals and food products na low pod ang pH, mga acidic sad. And aside from the benzoic acid, we can also use the sodium benzoate. However, sodium benzoate is more used on liquid preparations. Pero pag abot na niya dito, pag i-mix-mix na siya, it will still give benzoic acid. Okay? And then, so this will be the last slide for our preservatives. We have the sodium propionate, which is an antifungal na preservative. And then we have sorbic acid, another antifungal na preservative used for different types of mga dosage forms. Antifungal has ano siya, kanang para siya sa mostly sa molds. And then potassium sorbate na just like the sodium benzoate na nag-release og benzoic acid, si potassium sorbate pod mag-release pod siya og sorbic acid. And another preservative for our injectable drugs is the phenylmercuric nitrate, and then we also have the phenylmercuric acetate. So those are the list of the preservatives we can use in our pharmaceutical preparation, so including perfume and even the food for benzoic acid. Questions, class, about our preservatives? Wala. Actually, di ba, I told you yesterday, I'll be ending my lesson here. But looking at the time, it's still 4:11, madugangan ato ang lesson sa prelim. So, ingon ko, ang next nga lesson will be antifungal. However, nanukad na ko kagaina kasi feeling jud na ko, manubra ako ang time. So, gibaliktad na ko akong slide. Instead of the antifungal kasi is very long. So, unahon na lang nato si anti-tubercular agents. Class, you really have to bear with this kay daghan jud siya kaayo. Maula man gihapon kay i-discuss gihapon ako siya sa midterm. So dito na po siya sa midterm madaghan. Actually, class, gusto jud ako siya humanon sa prelim kay dili pa ing ato kalisod. Pag moabot tag midterm tas madugang pa ni siya sa midterm, samot jud ni siya kalisod. So atuan na lang siyang sugdan si anti-tubercular agents. Mo ni siya ako ang gipili na iano sa prelim because I believe i-appeal siya sa prelim because I believe na you are familiar with them, mga anti-tubercular agents nato. So pag moingon kag anti-tubercular agents, syempre, these are the agents we use to kill the Mycobacterium tuberculosis. This one is an acid-fast bacteria. So mo na siya nga, kung gusto ta mag-identify if na ay presence ni M. tuberculosis, we don't usually do the gram staining. Instead, we do the acid-fast staining. Actually, it's ang iyahang procedure is most likely the same. Na ay mga lang, ano sa tawag na ay mga differences. Just like the primary stain here. Okay, the primary stain here is the carbofuscin. And then, ang decolorizing agent lang din is the alcohol. The alcohol gihapon pero acid na alcohol. So when you say acid na alcohol, it's 3% hydrochloric acid in 95% alcohol. Wait lang, replyan na ako ni kay di ko kasundo sa akong mama. Okay. Ang susunod, the colorizing agent is 3% hydrochloric acid in 95% alcohol, class, ha? So, ang anak class, ang positive result kapag ka-acid-fast ang bacteria like the Mycobacterium tuberculosis, it will retain the color of the carbofuscin. Okay, again, it will retain the color of the carbofuscin. However, if the bacteria is not an acid-fast bacteria, the color will be washed out by the acid alcohol. And then ang color nga makita nato is color blue because the counter stain or the secondary stain for acid-fast staining is the methylene blue. So take note of that ha kay pasin apilo na ko siya sa ako ang exam. Carbolfuchsin, acid alcohol, and then we have the methylene blue. So sa staining, we have the primary stain and then we also have the counter stain. And in between, we have our decolorizing agent. So do not forget, class, that the Mycobacterium tuberculosis is anaerobic bacteria. So it requires oxygen. Actually, it is an obligate aerobe, meaning kailangan jud niya og oxygen for it to survive. So this one is a non-spore forming bacteria kasi di ba we have only 2 spore forming bacteria, the Bacillus and the Clostridium. So this one is not a spore forming bacteria but it's facultative intracellular. So pwede siyang nasa inside sa cell, pwede ding wala. But most likely it is intracellular. Intracellular. It should be inside our cells. So it can cause Koch's disease. That's the other name for pulmonary tuberculosis. And then if we want to grow a Mycobacterium tuberculosis in vitro sa Petri dish, we use the Lowenstein-Jensen na medium. And then pag mo-grow na siya dito sa agar, ang iyahang colonies murag bitin, serpentine growth colonies. Murag bitin ba nga nag-ana-ana. Okay? So that's the Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Now, what are our anti-tubercular agents? So we have the isoniazid. Sometimes class, wala ni nila ginabutang ang full name ni isoniazid. Instead, they use INH or H. So INH means isonicotinic acid hydrazide. So we have nidrazide in the market. Now, what is the mechanism of action of our isoniazid? The target is the mycolic acid. So that's what separates the Mycobacterium tuberculosis from other bacteria. It contains mycolic acid as a component sa iyahang cell wall. Now, without that mycolic acid, if you administer isoniazid and then na-inhibit na ang paggawa ng mycolic acid ng bacteria, then the bacteria will not survive. Okay? However, you have to take note about the adverse effect of the isoniazid. It's peripheral neuritis. Again, peripheral neuritis. Kasi when you take isoniazid, there will be a competition between isoniazid and the pyridoxal phosphate substance for the enzyme apotryptophanase. And mauwi na siya into peripheral neuritis wherein the patient will experience numbness. Kasi ang target ana niya class is ma-damage jud ang mga neuron outside the central nervous system. So neurons outside the brain and the spinal cord ang target ni isoniazid. So muna siya most likely ma-feel nila sa ilang kamot or sa tiil nila. There will be numbness, there will be pain, and the pain is most likely like kanang mga tingling sensation, ganun mo ginatusok-tusok ang ilahang kamot or tiil, pero pwede po siya sa other parts sa body. So, another board exam question, our antidote for the peripheral neuritis caused by isoniazid is the pyridoxine. So, pyridoxine is commonly known as vitamin B. Isang vitamin B? What's the number sa vitamin B? Ano naman pyridoxine? Vitamin B1, B2, B3, B5. You have idea? Ano ng pyridoxine? Vitamin B. Idea?
Hindi ko alam.
Vitamin B6 class. Vitamin B6. Okay? Vitamin B6. Mao na siya class. Ang kanang may mga problem with the nerves, the neurons. Ginahatagan di ba og vitamin B complex. So ang pinaka-importante diha si vitamin B6. Class, be familiar with the different vitamin Bs nato ha. B1 is thiamine. It's tarana. Tarana. B2 is riboflavin.
Niacin.
Yes. B3 is niacin. Ang mga important lang na mga B's akong ihatag. B5 is it's pantothenic acid. Wait. Let me delete this. It's pantothenic acid. B6 is pyridoxine. B9 is folic acid. So mostly ang mga ginatagaan na itong folic acid ng mga buntis because this one is a very important vitamins for the development sa fetus, especially sa brain. And then we have the B12, the cyanocobalamin. Okay, so do not forget this important na mga vitamin B's nato. But for isoniazid, it's vitamin B6. So kapag ka ang patient is under isoniazid treatment, most of the time, ginaapilan na siya og vitamin B6 or pyridoxine. Okay, questions? Wala. So, another one, which is an analog of isoniazid, is ethionamide. However, we only use ethionamide if the patient has become resistant already to isoniazid. So, this one is a reserved treatment. That is why it is not very common. However, since this is an analog of isoniazid, we also have the peripheral neuritis or neuropathies here. But aside from that, it can also cause GI irritation. It is also toxic to the liver and also sa mata. It can cause optic neuritis. Pwede ma-damage ang neurons sa mata. And then we have the pyrazinamide. We abbreviate it as PZA or Z. By the way, reserve treatment ni Hakani, this one is a first-line drug. So this is called pyrazine carboxamide. However, until now, the mechanism of action is unknown. We don't know yet how this agent can kill the mycobacterium. However, since pyrazinamide can develop resistance agad-agad rapidly, then we don't use this agent as a single agent. We always use this in combination with other drugs. So ang pinaka-importante gid nga inyong mabalaan with the anti-tubercular agents kay ang ilahang toxicity. So for pyrazinamide, it's hepatotoxicity. Once we test the liver enzymes, ani mo taas jud ang liver enzyme. So we have the ALT and the AST. So mo na siya ang mga liver enzymes nato. So this one is a prodrug inside the body. It will become pyrazinoic acid, and that is the active form of the drug. Okay? You just ask question if you want to clarify something. And then we have the ethambutol. We abbreviate this as EMB or E. Ito naman, E for the eyes, because the adverse effect of this drug is more on the eyes. It's optic neuritis. Now, if a person experiences optic neuritis because of ethambutol, the person will not be able to distinguish between color green and color red. So, mahimo na siyang colorblind if masobraan og take with the ethambutol. Now, what is the mechanism of action of ethambutol? So just like our isoniazid, the target is still the mycolic acid found in the cell wall of Mycobacterium. So do not forget E for the eyes, optic neuritis. And then another second line treatment. So you are not familiar with this, kaya second line treatment siya. It's para-aminosalicylic acid, PASA or PAS. However, since this one is acidic, so mag-expect jud ta nga it can cause irritation sa gastrointestinal tract. Now, what is the mechanism of action? The target is the PABA, the para-aminobenzoic acid used in the folate or the folic acid biosynthesis in the bacteria. class ang bacterial cell or even our cell nagahimo tag sarili nato nga folic acid. Kasi si folic acid is very important in cell division. So without that, there will no be cell division. Pag ato ang ihatag si PASA, ang target niya is si PABA, which is used in making the folic acid of the bacteria. And if wala na siya, i-inhibit niya, then the cells of the bacteria can no longer divide also. And then we have the clofazimine, brand name is Lamprine, and just like our pyrazinamide, the mechanism of action is also unknown. However, this is a dye, a red dye to be exact, but this is more used for leprosy. For leprosy siya kesa sa kay Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Okay, so nganong na-appeal si leprosy diri? Because the causative agent of leprosy is the Mycobacterium leprae. So it's still a Mycobacterium. So pwede gihapon si clofazimine. But we only use clofazimine as a second-line drug if the patient has already developed resistance sa first-line drug nato for leprosy, which is dapsone. So since this one is a dye, so ang ihi sa patient ani mag-color sad. Mahimo sad siyang pula or maroon. Okay? So those are our anti-tubercular agents. Now for the last one, since I have limited time, anti-tubercular antibiotics na lang. Last na ni siya. So di ba pag mayroon pog antibiotics, we get this from microorganism and then they are able to kill or prevent the growth of other type of microorganism. So katong uban na nauna na nakong discuss, they are synthetic. So this time, kani antibiotic na sila. So we have the rifamycin. Take note, it's from the Streptomyces mediterraneae. Do not forget this because this is a board exam question. This is the fungus that we dito nato ginakuha ato ang rifampicin. So the rifamycins like the rifampin or the rifabutin. So ano siya rifampin nato? This is the other name for rifampicin. Pwede po siya rimactin. This is the brand name na. And the rifadin. Now, among the anti-tubercular agents and the antibiotics, this is the most active against tuberculosis. However, our problem with rifampicin is it is included in our list sa enzyme inducer. So, isod po siya isabay with the other drugs kay enzyme inducer siya. So kapag taken siya in combination with isoniazid or ethambutol, since enzyme inducer siya, mo increase ang risk of having liver damage or hepatotoxicity. Now take note class that rifampicin is also a dye, napod siya color. So mo na nga ang iyahang adverse effect, you will also have a colored body secretion. So red to be exact. And aside from that, again, hepatotoxicity, especially if we combine with other anti-tubercular agents. So take note of our first-line treatment for TB. We have our mnemonic stripes. So we have the rifampin or the rifampicin, isoniazid, pyrazinamide, ethambutol, and streptomycin. Now, how do we give this for persons with tuberculosis? For 2 months, the person will be receiving ripe. Pwede po siya ripes. Depende sa case sa patient. So, pwede siya ripe, kaning upat lang, or pwede na to dugangan og S. And then, that's for 2 months. And after 2 months, for the next 4 months, there will be the maintenance phase, pero pwede ng RI na lang, rifampicin na lang, and isoniazid. So, the patient should complete this treatment for 6 months. Para maayod jud ang iyahang TB. Okay? Questions? So we have the cycloserine, which is a drug isolated from different species of Streptomyces, the Orchidaceous, Garifalus, and Lavendulus, which targets also the bacterial cell wall. So, bacterial cell wall po ang target to kill the mycobacterium, as well as the capreomycin. But these two, cycloserine, capreomycin, are not common, though they are antibiotics used for TB also. So this is from Streptomyces capreolus. And the last one, this is our last lesson, streptomycin. This is the only aminoglycoside which is an antibacterial antibiotic na pwede gamiton for TB. So remember the RIPES, S there is streptomycin. And do not forget who discovered its use for TB, it's Waxman. Kasi usahay niya na pangutana siya. So, ano siya ha, kay, di ba, ano ni siya, antibiotic siya, pero siya lang ang ginagamit for TB na aminoglycoside. It's the streptomycin. So that ends our coverage for prelim, the antifungal, and ang uban pa ng mga lesson will be sa midterm na i-discuss.